And a quick look at your markets in just under 30 minutes before the Minister of Finance takes to the podium. The markets already are waiting to see which way that the minister's pendulum will be swinging. When we look at the all-share index, it's currently up 0.1%. It's sitting at 89,151. And a quick look at the currencies, I beg your pardon, the rand to the US dollar currently trading at 18 rands 42. It's sitting at 19 rands 20 to the euro and at 23 rands 19 cents to the pound. Today, our market commentator is Faima Adia. She's an equity analyst at Momentum Securities. Faida, thank you so much for your time. The day that we've been waiting for in the economics landscape and across newsrooms, the budget today, we understand that, there's varying degrees in which what's going to happen with regards to tax. What do you at Momentum envisage this budget will look like? We've just got a few minutes to go before the minister takes to the podium.
Good afternoon, Diabo. Thanks for having me. Yes, so I think it's going to be the first time we see this budget now, in light of the GNU. And there's also some headwinds on the political front coming from the US, which makes it a bit more trickier to navigate, given that Trump has been cutting off funding when it comes to things like HIV healthcare and so forth. So I think that will be a key focus on how South Africa is going to deal with some of those headwinds, how it will impact us from a fiscal point of view. Of course, a key focus will probably be on fiscal consolidation. Yeah. I can imagine that the Treasury will continue to focus on bringing down the high levels of debt that we have. The other key issue is likely to be Transnet. I think it's going to be very important for us to see that turn itself around. It's obviously very critical for companies in South Africa and for overall economic growth. So it will be interesting to see how the Treasury handles this one, given that Transnet is heavily indebted at the moment. It is in desperate need of a cash injection, but unfortunately, the fiscus is just not at a point where it can afford that extra funding to more state-owned entities that have failed. So it will be quite interesting to see how they navigate all these different dynamics.
Yeah. Faima, do you think that with the structural reforms that have already started to get into gear, these are likely to appease institutions like rating agencies and the market overall?
Yes, I think the rating agencies are feeling a lot more confident, and we are seeing, I think, fundamental improvements in the country to date. So obviously the Government of National Unity election has created more political stability for the country. We have seen improvements in Eskom's load shedding situation, and these reforms that we're expecting to now see at Transnet will also help, I think, improve our status with the rating agencies. So I believe that if we look at Moody's and Fitch, they're quite likely to even revise the outlook on our credit rating from stable to positive if we can prove that we can actually achieve these targets that we're setting for ourselves.
Yeah, of course, while this is a big event that's happening in Cape Town today, we do also have other data that's happening and other things happening in the background. Retail sales just released a few minutes ago shows that for December, retail sales were up 3.1%. The retailer seems to be having a good time. I think it's a consecutive increase that the sector has been seeing.
Yes, and I think that's just on the back of, some of the factors that I've mentioned, just better sentiment from consumers after the GNU and also on the back of improved load shedding situation. And I think an important thing to note is we also had those two-pot withdrawals, and that actually helped the consumer to reduce some of the higher interest-bearing debt. So that's freed up some of their funding, I think, to be able to spend in other areas, such as on the retailers. So I can imagine that is what's likely driving the sales there.
Yeah. Faima, I wish we had more time to touch on things like Glencore results and other business news that have been on the spectrum, but unfortunately I have to leave it there.